Dear students, once again welcome back to our English class. We were going through our second unit, Bonds of Love, in which our third lesson, Tolstoy form, written by Mahatma Gandhi. Now, let's recall what we learned in the last class. In the first 4 paragraphs, we learned about Gandhiji's Tolstoy form. According to Gandhiji, the foundation of education was one should build his character and culture. He himself became the father of inmates, and with the help of Mr. Kalenpach and Surgeon Prangji Desai, he took classes for the students to gain experience related to gardening, felling trees, lifting loads, cooking, scavenging, etc. It also helped them to be physically fit and mentally happy. Now take the first paragraph of page number 63. Sometimes I cannot at their pranks, but often I was strict with them. I dare say they did not like the strictness, but I don't recollect their having resisted it. Whenever I was strict, I would, by argument, convince them that it was not right to play with one's work. The conviction would, however, be short-lived. The next moment they would again leave their work and go to play. All the same, we got along, and at any rate they built up fine physique. There were scarcely any ill on the farm, though it must be said that good air and water and regular hours of food were not a little responsible for this. Sometimes Gandhiji secretly overlooked at their tricks, but often he was strict with them. They did not like his strictness. Gandhiji don't remember them reacting to it. Whenever Gandhiji was strict, he used to argue and convince them that it is not right to play with one's job. Its effect was only for a little time. The next moment they would leave their work and play. At the same time, they were in good terms, so that they built a fine physical structure. So the farm was free from diseases, even though good air or water were not much responsible for the scarcity of disease. Now just go through the unfamiliar words. Kanal means ignore or overlook a crime. Prank means mischievous tricks. Recollect, remember. Resist, oppose. Convince, make someone understand. Conviction means understanding. Get along means without quarreling, be in a good term. Physique means physical structure of a person. Now look at the next paragraph. A word about vocational training. It was my intention to teach every one of the youngsters some useful manual vocation. For this purpose, Mr. Kalenbach went to the Trappist monastery and returned having learned shoemaking. I learned it from him and taught the art to such as were ready to take it up. Mr. Kalenbach has some experience of carpentry, and there was another inmate who knew it. So we had a small class in carpentry. Cooking almost all the youngsters knew. Here Gandhiji is trying to say something about vocational training. It was his main intention to teach everyone some useful manual vocation. For this, Mr. Kalenbach went to a Trappist monastery. A Trappist means a Roman Catholic belief monastery, and returned having learned the shoemaking. From him, Gandhiji also learned the art of shoemaking and taught it to those who are interested. Mr. Kalenbach had experienced in carpentry, and with the help of another person in the farm, taught the inmate carpentry. Cooking was familiar for most of them. All this was new to them. They had never ever dreamed that they would have to learn these things someday. For generally the only training that Indian children received in South Africa was in the 3 Rs. On Tolstoy farm, we made it a rule that the youngsters should not be asked to do what the teachers did not do, and therefore when they were asked to do any work, there was always a teacher cooperating and actually working with them. Hence, whatever the youngsters learned, they learned cheerfully. All these activities were new to them. They had never thought of learning these things someday. When generally saying that the only training that the Indian children got in South Africa was related to 3 Rs. What are the 3 Rs here? Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Arithmetic, the R is silent even though they regarded it as 3 Rs. That was, on Tolstoy farm, they made it a rule that the youngsters should not ask to do what the teachers did not do. When they were asked to do any work, always a teacher will be there cooperating and actively working with them. Hence, whatever the youngsters did, they did it happily and optimistically. From this, we got an idea about Gandhiji's vocational training and the importance of 3 Rs: reading, writing, and arithmetic. I hope you all understood this lesson. Read the lesson thoroughly and properly. Now let's move to the activity. The first activity, in Tolstoy form, there is reference to various skills. Identify them and fill in the bubble. It's very easy one. No? What are they? Independent living, gardening, carpentry, shoemaking, cooking. These are the various skills taught in the farm. You must be familiar with Gandhi's concept of education. By education, I mean an all-round drawing out of the best in a child and man, body, mind and spirit. How far is it true with the learning experience in Tolstoy farm? Write your answer in a short paragraph. Let me help you to do one. Yes, look here. Gandhi did not believe in the existing system of education. His concept on education was the all-round development of the children. Education should help children develop mentally, spiritually and physically too. He believed that under ideal conditions, true education could only be imparted by the parents. For this, he made Tolstoy form a family and he took the charge of the father. He considered character building as a foundation of education and gave the inmates moral training. In addition to the literary training, he gave them vocational training in shoemaking, carpentry, gardening, cooking, etc. The inmates got enough physical exercise for various works such as digging pits, felling timber and lifting logs. Thus, Gandhiji practicalized his concept of education on Tolstoy farm. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. See you in the next class with a new lesson.